Hello and welcome back to another vlog. This vlog is definitely going to be a little bit different. If you watched my last one, I talked about making KyndalRicks this like big Jurassic Park gate, and I freaking pulled it off. I didn't think I was going to be able to. I've never done anything like this like ever, and I've never been like confident in like DIYs or anything crafty because I just didn't think that I was capable. But like I said, I did it and I'm very proud of myself. Kind of what started this whole idea is KyndalRicks wanted another Jurassic Park birthday, and this would be his third one. The decorations obviously only vary so much, and so I decided to think outside of the box and build this Jurassic Park gate. I feel like it turned out really good considering I've like never done anything like it. So that is what this vlog is going to be, is like me making this from like start to finish. I tried my best to make it like a how-to in case maybe you come across this video or you're wanting to do this for your child. My significant other brought home 5 massive cardboard boxes from work. I know places like Lowe's and Home Depot also sell cardboard, or just use what you have. You just want to make sure that like they're obviously like big enough. Here I am cutting all of my pieces, and how I got my measurements was I measured the space I was using and kind of just like imagined where I wanted it to sit. So I came up with my bottom pieces being about 26 inches wide, and for height I needed it no more than 70 inches. So I divided that by 3, giving me about how tall I needed each tier to be for the pillars. Your first tier should be short and wide, and then the next 2 should get longer and skinnier. I cut the inner side of my tiers straight and then the outside at an angle to match the gate. I wanted to go with a 3D look, so I cut 2 extra pieces for each tier of the pillar for added support. For the sign, I measured the gap between my tiers and freehanded it from there. I left a little extra on the end so I could slide it into the top tiers. As for the scones, I just made a guess. I wish I would have made them a touch smaller, but it consists of 2 right triangles and 2 rectangles for a total of 12 of both shapes. I used hot glue to hold it all together, and I made sure once the pieces were glued, I also glued the inside for added structure. Alright, here's a little update. I just wanted to like put them side by side so I could kind of see what we had going. I really screwed this up. I think I'm gonna start on painting. Like there's definitely some imperfections, like this obviously doesn't line up, but it's gonna be covered, so I don't think you're gonna be able to see it anyway. And that's where like the fire is gonna go, so like I'm really not too worried. As for paint, I just went to Ace Hardware and got whatever gray paint I could find. I was like, I just need something cheap. I'm gonna be using it on cardboard. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, so this is what we ended up doing, was 2 samples. I'm hoping it'll be enough. Worst case, I have to go get like a third one. I'm just hoping that it's dark enough. I wanted like a darker gray. I think that'll be okay. Like I said, I just needed something cheap, so hopefully this will do. I worked on this from morning until night. So yes, I had to work around a toddler and a baby, which made it a little difficult. But if I waited until nap time, I wouldn't have finished in time. This was like a 4-day process as is. And even then, I was like finishing the day of his party. For the gray paint, I ended up adding 1 to 2 tablespoons of water to thin it out a touch. And it made such a difference and was much easier to work with. So I would highly suggest that. Note that I did not do it with the black, only the gray. What do you think of this?
I like it.
It's gonna kind of look like rock maybe. Good morning. I actually feel well enough to pick up the camera and say hello. I have been so sick while trying to get this project done. I think KyndalRicks gave me his cold. Except for I remember saying this last year also, it's like the sicknesses are just not the same anymore. Like I remember when you'd get a cold and it was just like you'd be congested and have like a sneeze, and now it's like body aches and headaches, chills. Like last night I was so cold and then I woke up in the middle of the night and I just had beads of sweat all over my body. And then the last few days I woke up with terrible headaches that have just made me so nauseous. So I think I'm finally on the mend of it. I actually feel like pretty good today. Good enough I got myself showered and like somewhat put together. Granted, my hair is just like slicked back and I did very minimal makeup, but I feel a lot better about myself today. This is what I got done last night. Is I got a majority of like the black paint on there and it looks so much better than I thought it would. So I'm very, very happy with it. It's definitely one of those things where I had to like trust the process, because when they were like just gray or even just the cardboard alone, I was a little nervous. I was like, oh my gosh, you can see all my imperfections, but like because of the way it's painted, I feel like it hides the imperfections really, really well. So I'm very happy with it so far. I'm so close. I just have to finish this, the sign, and that last one. So hopefully not too much longer, and then I'll be able to like assemble it all. That's why a majority of this ended up being like a time lapse. I wanted to like talk through some of it, but I was just not feeling good. So I just was like, I'll just film it. I'm just going back in with these synthetic sea sponges. It was only like $1 or $2 at Walmart. They've been working really, really great. I was a little worried because they are so small, but they're doing the job. I found it works best if I flip it over on the top and then be able to work on the bottom. That way I can go all the way down. I did it all the way around and then flipping it back this way so I can do the top. A little tip with these sea sponges is you want to like dab off any excess so you don't just have like a huge glob of paint. So I'll just kind of dab off like the first maybe 2 and then start from there. I'm just using a little paper plate. You could use really whatever. Just kind of go all different directions and then start blending it.
I need some help.
You know, it's just like blending, blending, lots of blending. If you find that you have like too many like light areas, you can go back through, maybe add a few darker spots. So it's really easy and super, honestly, hard to mess up. The only thing you also want to make sure is that you're like pushing down like a stamp and not dragging it or smearing it. There. The sign is done, or at least painting wise. I obviously still have to do like the letters and everything, but I'll have to wait for that to dry and I still have to cut out the letters and everything. I think I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the fire aspect. I kind of wish I would have went to the Dollar Tree for this stuff. I completely forgot that that was a thing until like after, but these were $1.48 and the dollar store is like what, $1.25 now, so it's just a few extra cents. But the Dollar Tree would be a really good spot to go. But I just grabbed some tissue paper and I did the colors of fire, obviously. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut an X in here and then kind of stuff it in so that it stays and will be like coming out. I'm also realizing that this one's a lot lighter than my other one, so I might go back through and do that one a little bit more because like this is so much darker compared to that one. This one's just looking a little sparse, so I might touch that up really quick. You can really see the difference already. I did a little bit on the top and then here's the bottom, so it's looking, like I said, very sparse. I'm trying to get them to match as much as I can. Honestly, I might even just like hot glue it if this doesn't work. Hendrik said it looked a little bit like a flower the first time, which I would agree. So I took it out and only did a single piece of tissue, and I feel like that helped a lot. So I think I just had too many pieces of tissue paper. So I'm basically just like bundling it up, and then the bottom I'll kind of like twist it to make it a little smaller. Just shove it on in. And don't mind any random toys that you might see around the house. I've kind of neglected it since I've been focusing on this. So if I go to about here, maybe go a little bit further. I might go to the next one. I'm going to likely end up free-handing it just because I don't know, like I don't have a printer or anything to be able to like trace the letters or something, so I might just have to freehand it. I can't find red poster board anywhere near me, so I had to get white, and I figured I'd just paint the letters. So really just like paying attention to like details that make it more of like that Jurassic font. We have ourselves a J. I think I have my next J to paint yellow. I basically just stuck this on and traced it a little bit bigger to go around. It's not perfect, but it's close enough.
That was over.
Not do it, I'm just saying. I I was in such a rush, I forgot to show that we added black streamers in place of the door. Hendrix and his friends both loved it, and it is now a part of my living room until Halloween rolls around. So I'm sure in a future vlog I'll give you a better like glance at it. So I apologize that I don't have like a full after, but I did at least make a reel out of it, so I will go ahead and show that.
I like it. I like it, Mom.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Hendrix. Happy birthday to you.